الحمد لله وكفى وسلام على عباده الذين اصطفى أما بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قال الله تعالى في القرآن الكريم بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم وما لهم به من علم إن يتبعون إلا الظن وإن الظن لا يغني من الحق شيئا وقال الله تعالى في مقام آخر وقالوا سمعنا وأطعنا غفرانك ربنا وإليك المصير سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد وبارك وسلم اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد وبارك وسلم اللهم صل على سيدنا وحبيبنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد وبارك وسلم Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He is our Rabb. There was a time when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala took an oath from all of us. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He created our ruh, and He gathered all of us together and asked us a question. He said, Alastu bi Rabbikum? Am I not your Lord? And all the arwah, all the spirits, all the souls together, they said, Bala, indeed, Ya Allah, you are our Lord. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He sent all of us into this dunya, one by one at their appointed times, to test us of that oath that we took with Allah. So this life that we all have been given is the test of Iman, is the test of belief. When human being came into this dunya, they forgot that oath that we took with Allah. That's why when a baby he comes in this dunya, the first thing that's done to the baby is what? Is reminded of that oath. Is by saying the adhan in his 1 year and the aqama in his second. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. This is the first word that goes into the ears of a baby. That Allah is the greatest. Remember, Allah is the greatest. You are here in this dunya for a trial, for a test, for a limited time, but Allah is the greatest. And then in his left ear, the aqama is recited that, you know what? Aqama is for a prayer. And when aqama is done, then between aqama and the prayer there is very little time. You cannot say aqama like 5 hours ago and then then do your prayer 5 hours later. So when a baby is born, he is reminded of that oath that we took with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that is, Allah is the greatest. Allahu Akbar. And in his left ear what is said is the aqama. And the aqama means that very soon there will come a time when it will be time for your prayer. That is the janazah prayer. Because when an aqama is called, there is not much time between the aqama and the prayer. So it is reminded that your time in this life is very short. Or you are going to go back to Allah. And this small little time that you have in this dunya, this is a time of a test of belief of iman. This is a time where you will be tested that oath that you took with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Do you remember that? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us a few blessings. And those blessings Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants us to use to get knowledge, to get information. Knowledge can be attained in different ways. The first source of knowledge that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us are the five senses. The hearing, the sight, touching, smelling, tasting. Right? So by, for example, touching this thing, I get to know that it's hard. It's a source of information. By seeing this wall, I can see that I can get this information that this is white. By smelling certain things, some food, I can get the information that it must be tasty. It's just an information. I will not get the taste until I taste it. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us these five senses as the first source of knowledge to get the information. But the thing is that these have their limits. For example, the tongue, it cannot hear. The eyes, they cannot listen. The touching, they cannot smell. So these sources of information that Allah Ta'ala has given us, they have limits. And they only work within those limits. And then where these sources of information they stop, then Allah Ta'ala has given us another blessing, which is called the intellect. The intellect starts where these five senses stop. So for example, by touching, by tasting, by smelling, by hearing, by doing all of this, by seeing, I cannot know that how is this table made. I can get to know that this is brown, this is hard, whatever, but I don't know how is it made. That's where my intellect kicks in. My intellect will tell me, there must be a carpenter who must have got some woods from somewhere and he must have cut it, and after cutting it he must have shaped it and nailed it, and at a time and then furnished it and polished it, and that's how this table is made. All of this information we can get through our intellect. But the thing is that as these five senses have their limits, our intellect also has limits. It cannot do everything. There are boundaries. And the thing is that its boundaries are what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us as matter. Allah ta'ala wants us that we use these blessings that Allah ta'ala has given us and use our intellect to do things that can benefit us. For example, like iron. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us intellect that you will use that iron to make airplanes. That's where the domain of intellect is. But when it comes down to morality, when it comes down to character, when it comes down to making the principles as to how to interact with each other, this is not the job of intellect. It's not within the domain of intellect. Intellect stops here. There is no universal principle to define as to what is the morality. For example, intellect tries to think, it tries to give logic. Right? Intellect tries to give logic. Okay, this is true because this must be true. or this is why it should be done, because this is the principle. But morality, we cannot give logics. There was a person called Ubaidullah bin Hassan Qayrawani. Almost 800 years ago, he wrote a letter to his disciples, to his students. He said that I think, using his intellect, that it does not make any sense that people have a beautiful and well-mannered girl in their own house in the form of his sister, who understands the moods of her brother. She also understands his psychology. But this stupid human being marries her to a stranger who he does not even know if he will be able to understand her or not. And sometimes this person himself brings for himself a girl who's not even equal to his sister in beauty, mannerism, and understanding. He said that I don't understand, choosing his intellect. Then what is the logic behind this? You give the wealth of your house to somebody and bring home something that does not give you any peace. He says that it is foolishness and it is against logic. And I advise you that you keep your wealth at home, that is, marry your own sisters. This is what happens when intellect is used outside its boundaries. Today's logic, try before you give it a try before you marry somebody. This is the Western logic. People come to me when I was in the US, these people will come to me and ask us, how come you guys, marry somebody, that you never lived with? And I asked them a counter question, you live with people for like 6 months, a year, or 2 years, and you eventually decide to get married and you divorce them in 6 months. You look into 1940s, 1930s, people who have been here long enough, mashallah. There would be people, these women would wear long hats, long skirts, long shirts, long sleeves. Right? That's what their logic of honor, of how to get respect. Today, we can see around, we shouldn't be seeing around, but we can sense what's happening around. What's the logic? People are thinking with their own heads that this is how it should be. 50 years ago, almost, it came into the paper that a girl was expelled from her university for sleeping with a stranger. SubhanAllah, and try to go into the dorms of today's college. People have gone to the West, they know it. This is what happens when people start using their intellect where it does not belong. Morality is not the domain of intellect. So where intellect stops, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us another source of knowledge, and that is revelation. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent all of us into this dunya, and this dunya, this life is a world of test, to test our belief, our iman, the oath that we took with Allah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to remind all of us and to define that morality as to how to live this life. Allah ta'ala has sent us revelation. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has sent us messengers. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has sent us reminders in the form of His books. وَمَا أَرْسَلْنَا مِن رَسُولٍ إِلَّا لِيُطَاعَ بِإِذْنِ اللَّهِ. That I have not sent messengers, but that they should be obeyed with the permission of Allah. This is the purpose of the messengers. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent these messengers to send us a message, to remind us of that oath that we took with Allah. Don't forget the purpose of your life. Don't forget that this is the way that you should be living your life. You cannot define your own lives. You cannot define how to get up in the morning. You cannot define, how to interact with people. You cannot define that how to marry, how to divorce. You cannot define that how to buy, how to sell. You cannot define how to do your businesses. You cannot define what to do when certain situation occurs to you. It's me, Allah, who is defining. That's what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reminded people of. That is the domain of revelation, morality. And that's exactly what our test is in this dunya. Test of belief, test of iman, test of yaqeen. You know, belief, what is belief? Belief is something that you agree to without seeing. If I ask you a question, do you believe that I have a paper in my hands? And if any of you say yes, the answer is wrong. Because it's not a belief, it's witnessing. You are seeing I have a paper in my hand. If I tell you that there are few papers in the other room, and you know that I speak the truth, and you say yes, that's the right answer. Yes, you believed in me, that I am telling you that there are few papers sitting in the next room. That's what belief is. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has a universe which is beyond our sight. There are angels in this room, inshaAllah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sends angels to the gatherings where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala name is taken, where He is remembered. There are angels sitting on our shoulders, kiraman katibin, ya'lamuna ma taf'alun. There are angels who are there, Allah Ta'ala has appointed to write down every single word that comes out of our mouth. مَا يَلْفِظُ مِنْ قَوْلٍ إِلَّا لَدَيْهِ رَقِيبٌ عَتِيدٌ. Allah Ta'ala says that I have appointed a guard, an angel, who is there to take down every single word that you take out of your mouth. When we lie, there is a smell that comes out of our mouth. And it hurts these angels, and they run away from us because they cannot take it. So that's what the belief is. Allah and His Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam have told us that, and we believe in that without seeing. Alif Lam Mim, ذَلِكَ الْكِتَابُ لَا رَيْبَ فِيهِ. Allah Ta'ala starts His beautiful book with these words. You know, the book that you're going to read now, that this is the book which has no doubt. Don't doubt in this book. Know that every single word that is going to come after this is true, is haqq. Believe in this. And if you believe in this, then you're going to be successful. That's your test. And if you don't believe in that, you're in trouble. That's the test of our life. This is why we are here in this dunya. Allah Ta'ala wants us to test us that how much do we believe in Him and His book and His messenger. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created us. And we are like a machine. And this machine, it works according to the way that Allah has created us. For example, these speakers, if we do not operate them according to the way that they are created, then they're not going to work. The cars that we drive, if we don't drive it the way that its creator wants us to drive it, it's not going to work. For example, they have gears, like they have part P and N and D and whatever, right? If you try to drive that car by putting it into R, what are we going to do? We're going to smash into the car behind us. If you do not drive the car according to the way that its creator has designed it, according to the manual that is given to us that comes with the car, it's not going to work. We're going to have an accident. If this machine that Allah Ta'ala has given us, if we do not operate it the way that Allah Ta'ala wants us to operate it, if it's not operated according to the manual that has come, we're going to have an accident. We're going to bump into something, and we are going to crash, and we're going to destroy ourselves. This is the test of our life. So the belief is that we accept things without seeing and without reasoning. We do not use our intellect in believing things. Everything okay? That's what the belief is. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants that from us. That we submit to Him to what He has given without asking for any logic. Don't use your intellect. Keep your intellect where it's supposed to be. This is not the domain of your intellect. And Allah Ta'ala wants us that we say when we listen to what He has to say, وَقَالُوا سَمِعْنَا وَأَطَعْنَا. Ya Allah, we heard, we obeyed. We don't want any logic. And when people try to get logic, Allah Ta'ala has written about them in His holy book. Bani Israel. Asking a lot of questions. And we know what happened with Bani Israel. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants from all of us that we accept without asking for logics. See, has anybody seen a puppet show? You know, there's the puppets that are moving. And there is also some conversation going on. People who know, they know that there is somebody who's pulling the strings behind the stage. These puppets are not moving by themselves. There's somebody talking. We are all like puppets. There is somebody pulling the strings, which we cannot see. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is running this world, this universe. We are here just to do things according to His commands. When He pulls the strings, we're just supposed to do what we are supposed to do. This is what our life is about. And if we agree to what is told to us, we will be successful. If we disagree, it's our loss. For example, a fish in the water. You know that, what do you call it when the fishermen put into the water to catch the fish? Hooks. And nets. The hook that he puts in. And he puts something to eat for the fish. Right? When that rod, that hook that string goes into the water, there might be that a big fish comes, and an experienced fish, and tells a small fish, you know what? This food that you're seeing hanging there, if you are going to try to eat that, you are going to get caught. Because behind this there is a fisherman. And that fisherman is going to pull his string, is going to take you to his house. His wife will cut you into pieces, and they're going to put you on the fire and you will be barbecued. Now this small fish is not seeing the fisherman. It's not seeing the rod. It's not seeing his wife. It's not seeing the fire. It's not seeing any of that. If it listens to what the big fish is saying, the experienced fish, it's going to be saved. But it says, no, I don't see all of that. Let me give it a try. And it's going to bite at the meat. And all what that big fish said to that smaller fish, all of that is going to happen. Just like that, the messengers have told us, this meat of this dunya, these attractions that you desire to eat, to grab, don't take that. Because if you eat that, if you take that, if you enjoy that, you're going to be barbecued. If we say, yeah, you're right, we believe in you. and we avoid that, we are going to be saved. But if we say, no, who has seen it? I don't believe in you. I haven't seen that. Let me give it a try. And then you try it, and all what Allah and His Messenger has said is all going to happen beyond our grace. This is the test of belief. This is the test of Iman. That whatever Allah and His Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam has told us, we believe in that 100% and live our life according to that. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in His book has given a lot of incidents that how people were tested with their Iman, with their belief, and how Allah ta'ala increased in their belief. Sayyidah Maryam alayhi salam, she was a very pious lady. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said that I chose Maryam alayhi salam over all the women of the universe. She went out of her house to take a bath, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent an angel to her. And she got very scared when she saw that man coming. She got extremely scared. She said, "Inni a'udhu bir-Rahmani minka in kunta taqiyya." I seek refuge from you if you fear Allah. He said, "Qala innama ana rasulu rabbiki." That I am a messenger from your Lord. لِأَهْبَ لَكِ غُلَامًا زَكِيًّا. I am here to give you glad tidings of a pious son. Now she is confused. قالت أَنَّ يَكُونُ لِي غُلَامٌ. How can I have a son? وَلَمْ يَمْسَسْنِي بَشَرٌ وَلَمْ أَكُ بَغِيًّا. I'm not even touched a man, and I'm not an immodest woman. How can I have a son? I'm not married. I'm not immodest. How can I have a son? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told the angel to tell her, قَالَ كَذَلِكَ. You are right. You're not married, you're not immodest. It's exactly like that. But قَالَ رَبُّكِ هُوَ عَلَيَّ هَيِّنٌ. Your Lord says that it's very easy for me. It's Allah who controls everything. Why do you have to have means, asbab? Yes, this dunya is the world of means, the world of asbabs, but you don't have to have asbab. Allah Ta'ala can do anything. Khair, she got pregnant, and she saw signs of a baby, and she delivered the baby. And when she was delivered, she was extremely scared, because she was outside the city, and she was thinking, if I'm going to take this baby to my people, what are they going to tell me? What are they going to think of me? And she said that I wish that I had died before this day. قالت يا ليتني مت قبل هذا وكنت نسيا منسيا. And I had been something that was forgotten and out of sight of people. This is her state. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said to her, Maryam, do one thing. When you go to your people, tell the people that I have vowed a fast of speech. That is, that I am not speaking today. In those days, there was a fast that people were not allowed to speak while they were fasting. Today we fast of drinking, eating, and marital relations. In those days, people used to have fast of speech. Allah Ta'ala said to Sayyidah Maryam, tell the people, I have vowed to Allah that I am having a fast of speech. And don't say anything to people. Now think about her state. What does the logic say? It's intellect. Oh, she must be thinking, one day these people are going to ask me, where did the baby come from? I'm going to tell them, a man came, he told me, I'm the angel and your Lord is going to give you a baby, and this and that, blah blah blah. She must be thinking 1,000 things, how to defend herself. The only weapon that she had at that time was what? Her tongue. That's what the logic says, the intellect. Allah Ta'ala said, don't speak. فَإِمَّا تَرَجِنَّ مِنَ الْبَشَرِ أَحَدًا فَقُولِي إِنِّي نَذَرْتُ لِلرَّحْمَنِ صَوْمًا. Tell people I have vowed a fast of speech. فَلَنْ أُكَلِّمَ الْيَوْمَ إِنْسِيًّا. I'm not going to talk to anybody today. So she went to her people, and exactly what she was expecting that happened. فَأَتَتْ بِهِ قَوْمَهَا تَحْمِلُ قَالُوا يَا مَرْيَمْ لَقَدْ جِئْتِ شَيْئًا فَرِيًّا. Maryam, you've done a strange thing. And they started blaming her. Ya ukhta Harun, oh sister of Harun alayhi salam, ma kana abuki mar'a saw'in wa ma kanat ummuki baghiya. Your father was not an evil man. Your mother was not an immodest woman. What did you do? And she did exactly what Allah Ta'ala asked her to do. She believed in Allah. Didn't use her intellect. Didn't say, I have to speak up. She didn't think that, if I speak up, I'm going to save myself. Possibly, if she had spoken and had given 100 excuses and 100 answers, it possibly would not have satisfied any of those people. But she did exactly what Allah Ta'ala wanted her to do. فَأَشَارَتْ إِلَيْهِ. She pointed towards the baby. And the people got even more crazy. قَالُوا كَيْفَ نُكَلِّمُ مَنْ كَانَ فِي الْمَهْدِ صَبِيًّا. How is this baby going to speak in the cradle? Are you crazy? But because of her belief, because of her obedience to Allah, a miracle happened. Sayyidina Isa alayhi salam, in his cradle he spoke. قَالَ إِنِّي عَبْدُ اللَّهِ. Indeed, I am the slave of Allah. آتَانِيَ الْكِتَابَ وَجَعَلَنِي نَبِيًّا. I have been given a book and I am made a messenger. This is what happens when people stick to the words of Allah. Don't use their own intellect. I'll give you a few more examples. Sayyidina Musa alayhi salam, he is going with his wife to a place, coming back from her father's house, and he sees a fire. It was cold, and his wife was expecting, and he said to his wife, wait here, I've seen fire, let me go and grab fire so that it will give us heat, possibly we'll cook something. They were traveling. So when he went, and the whole story goes, a sound came that I am your Lord. You are in a sacred valley, take off your shoes. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala spoke to Sayyidina Musa alayhi salam. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala asked him a question. He had a stick in his hand. He said, وَمَا تِلْكَ بِيَمِينِكَ يَا مُوسَى. What's in your right hand, Musa? And Sayyidina Musa alayhi salam, he was in love with Allah. When he saw an opportunity to speak to Allah, he started giving a speech. What's in his right hand? He said, قَالَ هِيَ عَصَايِ. It's my stick, Ya Allah. It would have been enough, right, to tell you, Ya Allah, it's my stick. But then he started saying, he said, that أتبكأ عليها وأحش بها على غنمي ولي فيها مآرب أخرى. He started giving the benefits of his stick. He said, Ya Allah, I lean on this stick, I beat down food for my flocks, and I have a lot of benefits in it. So this is what his intellect is saying. This is what my stick does to me. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said to Sayyidina Musa alayhi salam, to teach him that certainty, that belief, he said, قَالَ أَلْقِهَا يَا Musa. Why don't you throw it, Musa? Sayyidina Musa alayhi salam threw it. فَأَلْقَاهَا فَإِذَا هِيَ حَيَّةٌ تَسْعَى. Became a snake. This stick that he was telling to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Ya Allah, I have a lot of benefits, suddenly it became a snake. Or something that was harmful. Sayyidina Musa alayhi salam got scared. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, these benefits that you were thinking that were in your stick, these were the benefits that your intellect told you because I put those benefits in that. But it's not the stick by itself, it's Allah. And now you are thinking it's a harmful thing because it's a snake. He said, قَالَ خُذْهَا. Why don't you hold it? وَلَا تَخَافْ. Don't be scared. It's a snake, hold it, don't be scared. You think it's harmful? سَنُعِيدُهَا سِيرَتَهَا الْأُولَى. I will return it to its old qualities. It will again become beneficial for you. And Sayyidina Musa alayhi salam held it and it became a stick. It didn't use its intellect. Said what Allah Ta'ala wanted him to say. Sayyidina Musa alayhi salam going with his people. Fir'aun was after him. Fir'aun and his army is after his people. And it came a time when it was sea in the front, the ocean in the front, and the army at the back. And the people of Sayyidina Musa alayhi salam said, oh, inna lamudrakun. We are captured. Nothing can happen now. They were using what? Their intellect. Sayyidina Musa alayhi salam had total full belief in Allah. He said, Kalla, no. Inna Rabbi ma'iya sayahdeen. My Lord is with me, He's going to guide me today. He's going to show me a path. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He said to Sayyidina Musa alayhi salam, فَأَوْحِيْنَا إِلَى مُوسَى أَنِ اضْرِبْ بِعَصَاكَ الْبَحْرِ. Musa, the stick that you have in your hand, you throw it in the ocean. Now intellect was saying, you have one thing that you have, which is your stick, use it. Go, its army is coming, use it to fight against them. Ocean is in the front, army is at the back. All what you can do is use this stick to fight with the army and try to kill them, otherwise you have no choice. Don't throw it in the ocean, because if you throw it in the ocean you will have nothing now. The army is going to come and it's going to kill you. If you try to escape, you're going to be drowned in the ocean. But it didn't use its intellect. It did exactly what Allah Ta'ala wanted him to do. He threw it in the ocean. فَانْفَلَقَ فَكَانَ كُلِّ فِرْقٍ كَالطَّوْدِ الْعَظِيمِ. The ocean, it split into two. And every portion was as if it was like a mountain. And they crossed the ocean. And the Fir'aun came after. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala joined the ocean again. He and his army they got drowned in the ocean. This is belief. This is belief. Allah Ta'ala wants us that we believe in Him. Don't use our logic. Don't use our intellect where it's not supposed to be used. I'll give you another example. When we look at these examples from the Quran, it increases our iman. That's why I'm giving you all of that. Mother of Sayyidina Musa alayhi salam. Fir'aun was killing all the babies, the males, the children. When Sayyidina Musa alayhi salam was born, now the mother of Sayyidina Musa alayhi salam got very scared. Fir'aun is going to come and is going to kill my baby as well. What to do? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent inspiration, ilham to the heart of Sayyidina Musa alayhi salam. Oh mother of Musa, you know what? Take a box, put the baby in a box, seal it, throw it into the ocean, into the river. Now what will intellect tell you? There can be two things that can happen. Number one, if I seal the box, there will no oxygen that will come into the box, the baby is going to die out of suffocation. Or if I put a hole in the box to give him oxygen, putting him into the into the river, what will happen? The water is going to go into the box, is going to be drowned. That's the only two things that can happen. But she was the person of belief, person of Allah. She did labbaik ya Allah. She made a box, put it into the river, fi amanillah. Now the box is going in the river. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said another thing when He asked her to do this thing, what she did. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَأَوْحَيْنَا إِلَىٰ أُمِّ مُوسَىٰ أَنْ يَرْضِعِيهِ فَإِذَا جِفْتِ عَلَيْهِ فَالْقِيهِ فِي الْيَمِّ وَلَا تَخَافِي وَلَا تَحْزَنِي. Don't be scared. Don't have any grief in your heart. Don't worry. إِنَّ رَادُّهُ إِلَيْكِ. I am going to return him to you. Allahu Akbar. I am going to return him to you. Just imagine. What a crazy thinking. Putting a baby, small little baby who can't even move by himself into the water. Allah Ta'ala is saying, I'm going to return him to you. And not only that, وَجَاعِلُوهُ مِنَ الْمُرْسَلِينَ. I'm going to make him a messenger. Allahu Akbar. And she did what she did, having total belief in Allah. And now that this box is going, and the mother of Sayyidina Musa alayhi salam, she said to her daughter, why don't you go along with the box and see what happens? Fir'aun and his wife were walking alongside the river, and his khuddam, the people who served him, they saw that the box is coming. And they took that box out and opened it, and they saw that it's a baby. They took the baby to Fir'aun. This Fir'aun who was killing every baby, he saw the baby, and his wife saw the baby. Allah Ta'ala put love of that baby in the heart of the wife of Fir'aun. She said, beautiful baby, why don't we keep him? We'll make him our son. Fir'aun, he loved his wife, couldn't refuse her. This Fir'aun who was killing every single baby in the town, this baby, this man who was going to finish his dominion, was raised up in his own house. And now he took the baby to the house, and the baby couldn't take anything except milk. So they asked the people in the town, the women, who can come and feed this baby? So the women are coming, and Sayyidina Musa alayhi salam is refusing all the women. He's not taking any milk. Allah Ta'ala says, I made it haram on him, the milk of every woman. And now the baby needs milk, crying. And the sister of Sayyidina Musa alayhi salam is watching all of that. So she said, should I tell you about somebody who can feed him? And Fir'aun was crazy. He couldn't take the cries of the baby. He said, let him go, bring somebody. And she went to her house, said to her mother, you know what? Let's come. Our brother is there in the palace. Let's go and feed him. She came, and as soon as she took her baby, Sayyidina Musa, he started drinking the milk and stopped crying. And Fir'aun was relieved. Alhamdulillah. Somebody at least, at last. Now she said to the mother of Sayyidina Musa alayhi salam, why don't you stay at our palace? I will give you stipend. I'll give you everything that you'll be in need of, and you just stay here. She said, no. Whatever, I'm going to go back to my house. I don't want to live in your palace. He said, why don't you take the baby? Just take him. I'll give you everything. I'll give you food. I'll give you money. I'll give you everything to take care of this baby. You go and take this baby. So the baby came back to the house in the protection of Fir'aun. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, فَرَدَدْنَاهُ إِلَىٰ أُمِّ مُوسَى. I returned him to the mother of Musa. كَيْ تَقَرُّ عَيْنُهَا, so that her eyes might be cooled. وَلَا تَحْزَنْ, and that she might not grieve. وَلِتَعْلَمْ, and that she might know what? That أَنَّ وَعْدَ اللَّهِ حَقٌّ, that the promise of Allah is true. What did Allah Ta'ala say it to her in the beginning? I'm going to return him to you. Don't worry. And the baby was returned to the mother of Sayyidina Musa. Allah Ta'ala said that I returned him to him so that she knows that أَنَّ وَعْدَ اللَّهِ حَقٌّ, that the promise of Allah is true. وَلَكِنَّ أَكْثَرَ النَّاسِ لَا يَعْلَمُونَ, but many people don't know that. That's our problem. We don't know that the promises of Allah are true. All what Allah and His Messenger have said to us, they're all true. When Allah Ta'ala says that أَحَلَّ اللَّهُ الْبَيْعَ وَحَرَّمَ الرِّبَا, that Allah has made business halal and He has made usury and trust haram, that is true. When Allah Ta'ala says that يَمْحَقُ اللَّهُ الرِّبَا وَيُرْبِي الصَّدَقَاتِ, that Allah will increase charity, Allah will demolish, destroy and trust, that's true. What does our intellect tell us? You give in charity, your money decreases. If you had 100 riyals or dinars, riyals, what is it? Riyals. If you have 100, you give out 10, they're going to become 90. Allah Ta'ala says no. I'm going to, if you're giving it with sincerity, with ikhlas, I'm going to increase it 10 to 700 times and even more. إِنَّ وَعْدَ اللَّهِ حَقٌّ, the promises of Allah are true. When Allah Ta'ala says that, oh believers, you lower your gaze. Don't look at these people, these women who you are not supposed to look at, who are not related to you. Don't stare at these TV screens and these cinema theaters. And I will give you the sweetness of Iman in your heart. What does intellect say? No, the sweetness comes by looking at them. Allah Ta'ala says no. This sight is from the arrows of shaitan, from Iblis. You lower your gaze, I will give you sweetness of Iman in your heart. إِنَّ وَعْدَ اللَّهِ حَقٌّ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, whenever you have a discussion, an argument, you leave that argument for the sake of Allah. I will give you a palace in the middle of paradise. What does intellect say? I have to win this argument. If I don't win this argument, the other person is going to feel that I'm weak. I'm going to lose. Allah Ta'ala says, no, you're going to win. You're going to be successful if you lead this argument for the sake of Allah. إِنَّ وَعْدَ اللَّهِ حَقٌّ. So anything that is out of the domain of intellect, when people use that in that domain, that is, use the intellect in that domain, Allah Ta'ala says these are just conjectures. They're speculations, they're assumptions. And Allah Ta'ala says, وَمَا لَهُمْ بِهِ مِنْ عِلْمٍ, that they have no knowledge therein, إِن يَتَّبِعُونَ إِلَّا الظَّنَّ, that they are only following speculations, conjectures. وَإِنَّ الظَّنَّ لَا يُغْنِي مِنَ الْحَقِّ شَيْئًا. These conjectures, these assumptions, these speculations have nothing against the truth. They have no value in the sight of Allah. So all what Allah and His Messenger has given us, this is all haqq, and we have to believe in that. This is the test of our life. That whatever has been given to us, we take it. وَلَقَدْ كَانَ لَكُمْ فِي رَسُولِ اللَّهِ أُسْوَةٌ حَسَنَةٌ. Indeed, in the Messenger of Allah is the best example for you to follow. There is a man. You want to live a successful life, success in this dunya and the hereafter, follow this man. The way that he looked, the way that he walked, the way that he ate, the way that he interacted, and you will be successful. That's the test. Don't use your own intellect. I was telling about the seerah of the Prophet ﷺ in one of the lectures, and I told him that he forgave people for the sake of Allah. Allah Ta'ala says that in the Quran as well, وَالْكَاظِمِينَ الْغَيْظِ وَالْعَافِينَ عَنِ النَّاسِ. The people of Allah, they control their anger, and they forgive people for the sake of Allah. And the Prophet ﷺ forgave people for the sake of Allah. So much so that all these people who tortured him, when he was in Makkah Mukarramah, when he came to Makkah Mukarramah as a conqueror, he gathered everybody together and said, do you know what I'm going to do with you today? And everybody said, what? Akhun Kareem, Ibnu Akhin Kareem. You are a generous man, son of a generous man. And he said, La tasriba alaykum al-yawm. There is nothing on you today. Go. All of you are forgiven. He was a modest man. He was a forgiving man. He was a loving man, loving to his wives, loving to children, loving to people around him. وَلَوْ كُنْتَ فَظًّا غَلِيظَ الْقَلْبِ لَانفَضُّوا مِنْ حَوْلِكَ. If you were hard-hearted and harsh person, people would have fled away from you. This is his seerah, this is his personality. Allah Ta'ala wants us to take his personality. When I was telling this, somebody said to me afterwards, you know what? If I become a soft person, people would feel that I'm weak. And nobody would listen to me. Nobody would love me anymore. Allah Ta'ala says, love is something that Allah gives in the hearts of the people. It's not something that you can snatch. Love comes into the hearts of the people for you from Allah. And that comes by following the sunnah of the Prophet of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. This is our test. That we take every single thing that Allah and His Messenger has given us, believe in it 100% without any doubt, and live our life according to that. Every single moment. Every single moment. From the time that we get up in the morning, by how do we enter into our toilets, by how we relieve ourselves, the way that we wash ourselves, the way that we make wudu, that we come out of the toilet, the way that we pray, the way we go step out of the houses, the way that we enter into the masjid, the way that we come out, the way that we enter into our houses, the way that we interact with our spouses, the way that we interact with our children, the way that we go out to our workplaces, the way that we work during the day, and so on. Every single moment we have a role model. And we have to follow him. That's success. If we are going to try our own thinking, our own logics, loss is written for us. We're supposed to fail. We are trying to drive forward by putting our gear on R. We're going to smash into the car behind us. Right? And I tell you one last thing. We think that things are not logical. They are indeed logical. But the thing is, because our intellect has limits, just that our eyes can only see to a certain distance, maybe 1 kilometer, 2 kilometers, 10 kilometers, whatever, so are our intellects. They have limits. And everything is logical. Everything does make sense. People come and say, this tsunami came and thousands of people died. What's the logic behind that? Oh, that earthquake came in Pakistan, and so many people got swallowed by earth. What's the logic behind that? Oh, I made dua and my dua and made dua, and that didn't happen. What's the logic behind that? Duas are supposed to be listened. Oh, I did this and that happened. What's the logic behind that? Well, your intellect is not seeing the logic, but there is logic behind that. Sayyidina Khidr alayhi salam was going, Sayyidina Musa alayhi salam was going with Sayyidina Khidr alayhi salam, and he did a few things, and it did not make any sense, any logic to Sayyidina Musa alayhi salam. He was going in a ship, in a boat, and he made a hole in the boat. Sayyidina Musa said, "What are you doing? Doesn't make any sense." He said, "Wait, keep quiet." He went into a town and he killed a child. Sayyidina Musa said, "What are you doing? Doesn't make sense." He said, "Keep quiet." He went and the people of the town didn't entertain them. And there was a wall that was falling. He worked to make that wall erect. Helped the people of the town. He said, "What are you doing? These people didn't even take us properly, and what are you doing? You're helping them out? Doesn't make sense." Sayyidina Khidr alayhi salam explained to him why did he do all of that. The reason that he made a hole is because there was a king that would snatch all the ships except the defected boats. That's why he made the defect in the boat. That child that was there, if he had to grow up, he would become rebellious to his parents. That's why Allah Ta'ala ordered him to kill him, so that he can replace him with a better child. That wall that was falling, there was treasure underneath that wall that was of two orphans whose parents, somebody from their parents, were pious people. Because of their piety, Allah Ta'ala wanted that treasure to be saved, so that when these kids grow up, they will take out that treasure. Everything makes sense. All of this, what we see, that we feel doesn't make sense, Allah Ta'ala will show it to us on the Day of Judgment. This is why I did that. This is why I sent that tsunami. This is why I sent that earthquake. That's why this thing happened to you. That's why you lost your job. That's why you got this. That's why this happened. And everything will make sense. Everything will make sense. So our job is that we take everything that Allah and His Messenger has given us, believe in that, live our life according to that. Learn the Sharia. Because if we are not going to live the life according to what Allah and His Messenger has brought to us, we are headed towards destruction, my friends. We are headed towards destruction. I have no choice to make that as to how to live our lives, how to look like, how to interact, how to do things. It's Allah. We are here in this dunya for a very short period of time, and we are here to live a life of test. Allah Ta'ala is testing us at every single moment. Allah Ta'ala wants to see how do we react. Allah Ta'ala wants to see if this slave of mine, if he takes my commands when these things happen to him, and if this person acts according to my commands. This is what our life is for. And that angel of death is coming very soon. Everything is being recorded. If there is a book that's being prepared for us, and then we'll be shown that book. We'll be shown our book. This is what you did. I told you to do this. This is what you did. You followed your own whims and your own desires. You were supposed to do this, this, and this. You didn't believe in me. You didn't believe in the Prophet. That's why you use your own intellect to act in a certain way. Just my life, my way. Our job is قَالُوا سَمِعْنَا وَأَطَعْنَا. Ya Allah, we heard, we believed, and we obeyed. Otherwise, you know, there's no difference as to what we do and what Shaitan did. Allah Ta'ala ordered Shaitan to do sajda to Sayyidina Adam alayhi salam. We start giving logics. You know, how can I do sajda? Ana khayrun minhu. I'm better than him. خَلَقْتَنِي مِن نَارٍ وَخَلَقْتَهُ مِن طِينٍ. You made me from fire, you made it from dust. Fire is better than dust. How can I do such? Allah Ta'ala said, you know, get out. فَإِنَّكَ رَجِيمٌ. You're rejected. If we follow our own desires, our own logic, our own intellect, then we are rejected. Our job is to believe in Allah and believe in the Messenger of Allah. Take every single thing that they have given us, learn it, implement it, and live our life according to the way Allah Ta'ala wants us to live this life, with total belief, total certainty, total submission. So that when it comes time to go back to Allah, then Allah is happy with us, and we will be happy with Allah for the things that are stored for us, inshaAllah. Wa akhiru da'wana alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin.